In this video, we're talking rebound strokes, the first lesson every successful drummer has to master. Coming up. Hi, I'm Kevin Zahner, and if this is your first time watching Rhythm Notes, please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming today. Before we dive into the rebound strokes, let's talk a little bit about the drumstick and your grip. Divide the drumstick into thirds. Between the first and second third, you're going to have your fulcrum, where you're going to pinch with your thumb and index finger. Some people use their thumb and middle finger. That's up to you, whether you want to do the index finger or your middle finger. Some advanced players suggest the middle finger. I use the middle finger, but I started with my index finger. It's this transition that you could make rather easily if you want to do it later on. So this is the fulcrum, and it's important because this is where the stick is going to be held onto for the most part. Now, your fingers are going to help control the stick, but they don't want to limit the stick in terms of its motion. Okay, you want to be able to use the fingers to control the motion and control the stick, but not limit it. Because if you limit the motion of the stick, you're going to lose energy and therefore have to put more energy into it, losing efficiency and overall performance potential. This particular grip with your palm facing down is a German grip. If your thumb is pointing up, that's French grip. Now we're going to focus on what we consider a German/American grip, which is in between French and German. You kind of have the finesse and control of French grip, where you also have kind of the overall power of the German grip. So I call it American grip, and it's simple. If you raise your wrist, you prepare the stick to strike the drum. In your ready position, I suggest starting with your stick straight up. Now this might not sound or seem too comfortable at first. It might even look awkward. I wouldn't recommend this for like a parade drumming situation. It wouldn't look good. It would look awkward. But as far as developing hands and technique, it's perfect for rebound strokes because you're starting where you're going to start your stroke. It's also where you're going to finish your stroke. If you started down here, you'd have to raise the stick and then strike the drum. And it's still going to come back. If you stop the rebound, that's a different stroke, a controlled stroke, which will be in the next video. So that's a controlled stroke. We're controlling the rebound. We're stopping the rebound. We don't want to stop the rebound when we're practicing rebound strokes. So we're going to start up here. So as far as rebound strokes go slowly, consistently, and go one hand at a time. The first exercise is called 8 on a hand, and it's 8 eighth notes on each hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Now, you can keep on going as long as you want, or you can do hand to hand. You could do maybe 20 minutes, you could do 2 minutes. It depends on where you are in your development. It depends on how much time you have to dedicate to technique development. The next exercise that I recommend is called 8ths and 16ths. There's many names for this, but I call it 8ths and 16ths. It goes something like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and. Notice your hands switch from leading with your right to leading with your left. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and left. If you start with your left, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 and right. You're going to switch to your right. It doesn't matter which hand you start with. It just matters that you balance the development of your hands and start exercises with your left hand, and so that you don't train your brain to think that right hand is the dominant hand. You shouldn't have a dominant hand. So I shared with you 2 exercises you can practice for rebound strokes. 8 on a hand. Eighths and 16ths. And it's important to really relax. Have good posture, relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Your arms should feel kind of like jelly, right? And don't grip the stick too tightly because you're going to use too much muscle, and it's going to become inefficient. You're not going to get the music out of the drum and the drum sticks and the cymbals the way you really want to down the road. So very important to practice very relaxed but yet still in control. Sometimes you'll drop your sticks. That's not a big deal. Pick them up. Eventually it'll feel very comfortable. Another thing we went over was the grip and the ready position. This ready position works fine for orchestral percussion, maybe not so much for marching because you need to look more uniform. However, for developing technique or developing your snare drumming as an individual solo player or even a drum set player, this ready position for practice pad especially is perfect. So practice with a metronome, practice slowly, medium, and then faster tempos. Try to push yourself, but if you start to feel any sort of tension in your arms, stop. Give it a rest, maybe shake it out a little bit, stretch, breathe, and then get back to it. You do not want to be drumming through that tension. You want to adjust the problem. Perhaps your muscles aren't ready for that speed or for that stick height. So just make some adjustments. Maybe you've practiced enough that day. It's important to know that if you do this properly over time, you will feel great strength in your arms, especially if you practice consistently relaxed at the right tempos and with the proper technique as we've discussed today. If you want more basic introductory lessons about drums, the parts of the drums, the parts of the drumsticks, the different grips that we talked about earlier, there's more information at rhythmnotes.net. I'll put a link in the description below. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas about how you practice or anything to offer to our audience, please hit us up in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.